Hi, guys. It is March 31st, 2025. I am Jen Cushman. I'm an empathic intuitive, an energy practitioner, and a master practitioner of NLP, MER, and HUNA. What I want to talk to you about today with Magic Mondays is my card deck, or specifically, one of my cards in my card deck. And the one I want to talk to you about today is the quieter you become, the more you can hear. This card comes up a lot during the readings and when I am working with my clients. And so I felt like it was a really good time to talk about this card. Okay. Now, before I talk about this card, what I want to talk to you about is a little bit about my card deck. Okay. So this is my card deck that I created. It is called Joyful, Joy, and then Full, Joyful, the Joyful deck for creatives, healers, and feelers. Okay. And I really created this deck because I always wanted to do a wisdom card deck. It was a dream of mine, and I did it, and I was able to do the work and self-publish it. And what I want to talk to you a little bit about is the process that I did it. Okay. I worked with spirit every single step of the way doing this card deck. I mean, every step of the way. I really had this vision from above and taking it from above so below, bringing it down so below. As within, what is important to me? What did I want to say? And as without, what did I want to share with you? And the other part of that quote is, as the universe goes the soul, goes the soul. So it really is a soulful deck, and it's a very simple deck. So when I say it's simple, it means that when I communicate with spirit, what I get back from spirit is so simple. It's so beautiful. It's so truthful. It's like little pearls of wisdom that they drop when I am tuned in, when I'm doing readings, when I'm doing meditation. They just drop these very simple pearls of wisdom. And it is because life on planet Earth is very complicated, okay? It's very noisy, it's very complicated. And so they wanted this deck to be a very simple deck. And when I was creating it, the very first thing that came to me was the words, right? The quieter you become, the more you can hear, was the very first thing that came to me. And I have 48 cards in the deck, and in every single one of the cards, what came to me first was the words. This one is be gentle with yourself. This one is shine like the stars. And these very simple phrases came to me, and I was thinking about it because in the Judeo-Christian sense, one of the things in the Bible is, in the beginning there was the word, right? And the light and the truth and the way. And I'm not a huge student of the Bible, and I've done a lot of metaphysical studies. And so for me, if I were to take my label of that, how I feel about that, how I would interpret that, would be what I say all the time is words have power. Every word that we speak, if you really think about it in the sense of divine, every word we speak is a prayer, because we are putting out there, using our voice and our throat chakra, we are putting our words out there. We're putting our desires, our dreams, our wishes, our hopes, right? We are making manifest what's inside of our brains using our voice and using our words. Now, we don't think about that because we talk every single day, and some of us talk more than others, right? And we have jobs where we must communicate. We have relationships, we have partners, we have children, we have parenting. We are always in communication with another person. And we are also in communication with ourselves all the time. So the first thing in the process was the word. The words came to me first. And then what came to me was the imagery. And then I sat down, and then I got over my fears, all of that monkey mind, all of that self-doubt, all of that inner critic of that talk of like, who are you to draw an oracle card deck? Who are you to draw? You're not an artist. Even though I've been an artist for, 30 years, it was still, who are you to do that? And that was really overcoming. I needed to have confidence in myself. I needed to have the dream of what I wanted to create, why I wanted to create it, and who I wanted to create it for be bigger than the fear that I was facing. And so I just got to work. I started doing the drawings. And then the very last step was a complete 100% channel from spirit, from the divine that came through me as an open channel, which is what I do in my work. And that was the guidebook. That was explaining on a deeper level, what does this mean? And then the last thing I added in the guidebook is I added deeper questions. And that actually was my part in the process, because that came from my neuro-linguistic programming training. And so I was able to bring some of those deeper questions into the guidebook when I got done with it. So that's the process of how I created it. The reason why that is important is because I want to go back to two things that I just said. The first one is that in the word there is light, in the word there is truth. So think about that this week. Think about your words. Think about the power that your words have. Think about the emotion that we express with our words. Think about the energy that we create when we speak. And who are we speaking to? And how are those words affecting the other human being that you are sitting in front of? Okay? And then the flip side of that is there is so much information all the time out in the world right now. The world is so incredibly noisy. And it seems as though since the latter part of last year, or even middle of last year, the amplitude of the noise has just gone even louder and even higher, and even more just stuff coming in. And so part of what we need to do is to monitor what we are taking in, the words we are taking in, the energy we are taking in. Now, I'm speaking to you guys, my people, the creatives, the healers, and feelers, right? I'm talking to the highly sensitives, because we have an energy field that is heightened. Our senses are heightened. We are more in tune with our six senses in many cases than we are even in our five senses. And I do believe that one of the things that is happening in the world right now is we have been awakening to the power of the sixth sense. We have been awakening for the last, 30, 40 years to the power of our own inner intuition, and that we all have intuition. Every single human being has intuition. We have gut feelings, we have gut knowings, and the world needs to accept that intuition and energy is as much a part of life as the real world, three-dimensional reality. So if you think about the noise of the world, and you think about the fact that we are almost always on some kind of device. We're on our phones, we're on our computers, we're on our tablets, we're watching TV, we're listening to the news, whatever it is, we are constantly consuming information. Now, the way our minds work is that we get 2 million bits of information coming into us every second, okay? That is in words, that is in temperature, that is in intuition, that is all bits of information. Our unconscious mind processes all 2 million bits. Our conscious mind, because that is our thinking mind and what we need to be able to focus on, our conscious mind only takes in 126 bits. And that is what we tell our conscious mind to take in. In our neuroscience, in our brain, we have a reticulating activating system, a reticular activating system. And we are telling from our unconscious mind that takes in everything like a supercomputer to our conscious mind that says, this is what's important to me today. This is what I'm focusing on, okay? And our conscious mind, right, loves to be right. Our unconscious mind says, this is our belief system. I'm going to show you evidence of the belief system. So then when you go to your conscious mind and you go to get on your device, you've already looked at the same thing so many times that the computer, the algorithm, is bringing back to you evidence, proof that what you are thinking, believing, and feeling is truth, okay? So that's the way everything is going on. So that's our words, okay? We need to be looking at the words we use, understanding the power of our words, and then looking at the words we consume and the power of the consumption, and how important it is to stay alive, awake, aware. That only happens when we are aware of what we are consuming. And then we are using that information intentionally. Okay? Now, to the card today. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. The reason why this card is so powerful is this is how, excuse me, this is how we tune into our inner knowing, our inner truth, our inner intuition. As the world gets amplified, as there's more and more opinions, as everybody wants to spout their truth, as anybody can be a publisher because anybody can have a social media platform channel, okay? You can have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, right? We're looking at this on there. As anybody can become a publisher, people are just spouting their own truth, okay? It's their version of the truth. It's their version of the reticulating activating system. It's their version of what they want to choose to focus on, myself included, on these Magic Mondays. And so the way that you go from your 5D senses into your sixth sense is beginning with quiet. Quiet. We need to turn down the noise, the outside noise of the world and the internal chatter. And when we turn it down and we get quiet, then we can hear our own heartbeat. We can hear our own emotions. We can hear our truth. And that's why quiet is so incredibly important. You cannot have introspection and inner reflection without quiet. It requires quiet. It requires turning down the mind. Now, how do you begin to get the quiet? You begin with meditation. And you can meditate with seed, which means you are listening to a guided meditation, or you can meditate without seed. I can tell you part of my intuitive journey of being able to be a clear channel and being able to do readings for others means that I had to learn to meditate without seed. I had to learn to have no external stimulation coming in and to quiet my own internal stimulation so I could tap in, connect with spirit, and I could listen to the whispers of my soul, and I could hear the subtle messaging and the whispers of my guides and my angels. Okay? So it's a process, and we can all do it. The other thing I want to show you about this card that is really interesting, when I was drawing it, I got completely done with this card and I stacked it. So when I was doing another card at the end of it, there was another card behind it that was using this dark green, and it was on the back of the watercolor paper I was doing. And then when I stacked these cards up, I didn't realize there was still a smudge of watercolor on there. So there's this ugly green thing that is running through this. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. And when I was working with my editor and she was adding the words in these typed words, and she was doing that with a font and working in Photoshop to be able to do these, she asked me if I wanted to get rid of the green. And the human part of me, right, the artist part of me, the part of me that cares so deeply what you all think and how you judge my card deck, wanted to get rid of it because it was such a deep imperfection. And of course, I could have gotten rid of this with a stroke of a digital pen. And I decided to keep it because I don't believe it was an accident. I believe that as I was co-creating with spirit to create this, that this little yuck, this blah happened because spirit wanted me to show in a metaphor how hard it is for human beings to get quiet, how difficult it is to begin a consistent meditation practice, how difficult it is to stay committed to a difficult practice, particularly when times get difficult, right? That's when we let the self-care go out the window. When we are overwhelmed, when there's family drama, when there's too much going on, we're like, I just can't do it today. I just can't do my spiritual practice. I just can't make a salad today. I just can't, right? Well, the reality is that's the time we need it the most. When we are in overwhelm, that is when we need to get quiet. Okay? So that's really what I wanted to tell you is think about the words, right? Think about the noise. Think about the noise that's in your own head. Think about the noise that's in the outside world. and think about how, ask yourself questions. How can I quiet the outside world? How can I shut the outside world off for a little bit so I can lower, as a healer and a feeler, how can I lower that stimulus? You know, sometimes that is really setting a big boundary with someone. Sometimes that is saying no, maybe even saying no to something that you really want to do, but you just know that that's going to tax your frazzled nervous system. However it works for you is the best way it works for you. I just want to share my process with you because if you don't know where to begin or you don't know how to begin, this is how I did it. And I've been fairly successful at it. I am able to get visions, clairvoyant, from my team. I'm able to be clairaudient from my team. I'm able to have clear knowing, and I'm able to see the signs and synchronicities. And I'm telling you, my friends, that did not happen overnight. And if I can do it, you can do it. Okay? That's what I wanted to share. And then the other thing I want to tell you is that throughout the course of the year, I am going to take my cards and I am going to do some of this. I'm going to explain some of the cards a little bit further and a little bit deeper. If you see my reels, you will see that I have a reel that runs and it is a card pull. And I do those scheduled, just so you know. And the reason why I do them scheduled is because I believe that the universe is pulling the card for you that you need to hear for that day. Okay? I'm not in control of it. I don't pick my card for the day for you. I let the universe pick the card and put it on the reels. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also see the card pulls and you can see more information that for you. You can see it on my Instagram, my Jen Cushman Instagram, or my soul underscore stir underscore magic Instagram, or even on Facebook. There's many ways to find me. And then you can also get the deck in physical. You can go to my website and you can be able to buy it. And I have to tell you, this little deck that I have created is, and I'm just going to say it, it's extraordinary. Okay. And it's extraordinary not because I created it, it's extraordinary because I co created it. And Spirit talks through these cards. Spirit helped me create these cards for you and for me. And I pull one every single day. So I hope you check it out. As always, I hope this Magic Monday was helpful for you. And please remember the power of the words and the power of your silence.